Hello and welcome to the United Stand. How are you all doing? We're going to be talking Jose Mourinho's top marquee signing transfer target that many people think he's going to sign. We're going to talk about that and go through who the genuine options are, because you can talk about a marquee signing, you certainly can, but there isn't that many out there. So we'll be going through that, as well as you can see we're in a different studio for tonight's Saturday night show, so live comments, big part of it as well. And towards the end we'll be launching our Fantasy Premier League thing as well. But let's start off. Your live comments are flying up. Thanks everyone for joining us as per usual. Let me see, I'm in a different setup here, so bang, bang. Right, we're there. Gareth Bale. Let's start off with Gareth Bale to Manchester United. And I've got 5 targets to talk about. Is Gareth Bale realistic to Manchester United? I'm one of the non-believers. I don't think he will come. Today it develops again as per usual with De Gea, potentially Bale, but Real Madrid will give us... I mean, look, the bottom line is you don't need to be a genius to know this. It's been obvious since last March. It's been obvious for 2 years. Morata didn't come to United because they wanted De Gea. Rodriguez didn't come to United because we didn't want him probably, but we still would have had to give up De Gea. Real Madrid probably do want to offload Bale because they want to get Mbappe. And they can't satisfy that many players. And they want to keep Benzema because Zidane likes his work rate. Because Benzema is very happy to just do all the work and lay it on to Ronaldo and everybody else around him. So they won't want to get rid of him. So they will want to get rid of Bale, but they won't give us anything unless we give De Gea. The reality is, we've been talking this week, who would we prefer, Bale or Perisic? And although I lean towards Bale, the fact that we are discussing whether Perisic would actually be better for us and give us better balance, for me, that is an open debate, and it's a good debate to have. So when we're talking Gareth Bale to Manchester United and we're thinking, well, would we rather have Perisic to Manchester United, to then throw in the equation to get Bale, we'd have to give them De Gea. I tell you what, no chance. That's where I get up and walk out the room. There is not one part of me that thinks I want to give De Gea up for Bale in any deal. No chance. I wouldn't give them Martial. I wouldn't give Martial up for Bale. There's no player... Well, there are players that give them for Bale. Of course there are. They can have in fact, they can have a whole package. I'll give you Lingard, Jones, Fellaini. You can have them 3 for a start for Bale. But realistically, none of our good players. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't even give Juan Mata up for Bale. That's controversial maybe, but I wouldn't. But would I have Bale at Manchester United? Of course I would. But I think the same thing is going to happen with what's happened with Morata, is that Real Madrid, they'll feed the press, they'll feed it out there that yes, they are willing to give Bale up. But ultimately, it will come down to the same thing, De Gea. And I tell you what, I think Mourinho wouldn't do it because of the injury concerns about Bale anyway, but if he gave De Gea up for Bale, then he'd have an uprising on his hands, and he wouldn't want to do that at all. It's not my birthday. Anybody keeps going on about my birthday. I don't know where this starts, but it's an on-running joke. Thomas says get Dembele instead of Bale. Hold your horses, Toms. What have I missed? Well, we're only on player 1, Elliot Hobday, so don't worry about that. We've got 4 more to go. And essentially what we're talking about is who Jose Mourinho's marquee signing could be in the next month, if, as many people seem to think, we won't get Perisic. And it's important to throw in that, yes, there's Felipe Anderson from Lazio. Yes, there is Lucas Moura from PSG, and potentially Draxler. But, look, those players for me are a step down from Perisic. What we're looking at is, if we don't go for Perisic, we're looking at potential step-ups. And a lot of the players that we're going to talk about, the top 5 essentially, are players that you lot have highlighted. So, Gareth Bale is number 1. In summary, I would welcome him, but not. Unfortunately, as you can see in the shirt behind me, he's a Real Madrid player. And that means Real Madrid will screw us over for the price, and they'll also want De Gea. So as far as I'm concerned, Bale is a no-runner. Not at all. Never in a million years for me. The next one I want to talk about, and this won't take long. Marco Royce from Borussia Dortmund. A lot of people have been mentioning Marco Royce. Let's go for Royce. Why is no one linked to Royce? Why is Royce not leaving? In relation to Marco Royce, he probably won't play again this year. He did his knee. I mean, talk about injury prone, fantastic player, and he is a player that's been linked to us. And again, we're talking about somebody who can play that left-hand side. I've probably not made that clear. We are looking at a left-hand-sided player because we're talking about, if we don't get Perisic, where could we spend the 50 we were going to spend on him? Maybe add a couple of 20 million to it. So Marco Royce, very, very good player, but very, very quickly, a lot of people might not realise but he is injured. He did his knee in May. He won't be back until 2018. So very little time wasted on him. What about that man behind me? It's the sissing snake. Let me just remind myself of how old Di Maria is. So Marco Royce has just turned 28, same age as Gareth Bale. Good player. But let's talk about Angel, whatever you want to call him. Di Maria, the snake. He's 29. Interestingly enough, his contract is up in 2018, so he's only got a couple of years left on his contract. Mendes is his agent, as we know, that's the same agent as Jose Mourinho. Di Maria is a name. I've basically took top 5 players that you've all mentioned as potential replacements for Perisic signing if we don't get him, where we could spend a little bit more and get a marquee signing. So we've done Bale. I think Bale can't happen because we don't want to lose De Gea, and Real Madrid are horrible. We've done Marco Royce. He's injured till 2018. So that's 2 out of 2 gone. 3, Angel Di Maria, or Angel Di, I don't care. Di Maria. PSG. Already formerly at Manchester United. Had a bad season, and I call him a snake, not really because he left, although a little bit, but because he's got no backbone. He has no spine. I don't even like the look of the bloke, to be honest, and that's not a reason not to like him. Some people don't like the look of me, that's fair enough. But look, he was a potentially really good signing, but when the going got tough, Di Maria got going. And people always say, oh, well, his house got burgled. Well, you know what? He could have moved house. He could have booked his security up. You know, a lot of footballers get burgled. The reality is he didn't want to come to United in the first place. I think he wanted to go to PSG. And if I remember rightly, there was a problem with financial fair play. I don't know what that problem was, because they've certainly swept that under the carpet, Neymar. But Di Maria to United, I'm not one for buying flops back. I mean, bringing players back to United, I'm not against that. Ronaldo I would love. Pogba's come back. But bringing flops back, I've got to be very consistent about what I said about Memphis. For me, no, not at all. Ah, that was nice. So, no, not Di Maria for me. Loads of snakes in the live comments. Don't worry, we'll get the live comments back up for you. I just wanted to... We've got loads of snakes. He was scared of every challenge, says EMH Gaming. Let me just do this. This is very, very funny, and I don't want us to... There you go. Look at the snakes. Why can't I do it? Am I clicking on the right thing? Yeah, I am. There. Well, you see what I mean about the snakes. We've got the snakes going there. So, yeah, safe to say Di Maria would not be welcome back, says Ryan Thorley. And I think many of us think that, but he is a name that's been punched up a bit. And to be honest with you, let's not forget, Jose Mourinho did say a couple of months ago that he never would have let Di Maria go. He has the same agent as Di Maria. And is Di Maria now surplus to requirements at PSG? We could probably get him for less than 50 million because we sold him for 57. So we could probably get him for less than we paid for Perisic. As I say, he's 29 years of age. So loads of snakes behind me. I'm keeping it up because it's just going to be funny for people who turn on and go, what the hell is going on there? But thanks for all the snakes. And I think that is a consistent... If Di Maria, if you are watching, I know you did used to watch the United stand... actions speak louder than words, and in relation to Di Maria to Manchester United, we can see a lot of snakes. Anyway, let's go for somebody else. So we've done Di Maria, he's a no-goer. We've gone Marco Royce, he's a no-goer. We've got Gareth Bale, he's a no-goer. Let's do this lad. Very, very good player. Ousmane Dembele. Ousmane Dembele. You could say it like that, or you could say Ousmane Dembele. Whatever you want to call it, he's a fantastic player, a fantastic young player, 20 years of age at Borussia Dortmund. I've been on about him for a few months, I'm sure a lot of you have as well. I think he will be the best player in world football in 3 years' time. I really do. I think he is that good. You can stop with the snakes now because Dembele is not a snake, and I haven't got the live comments up either. So, yeah, Dembele is going to be one of the best players in the world football, I think. I think we had a chance to move for him, but I don't think we were going to go for him because I don't think he fits with what Mourinho wants this summer. He clearly wants experience, Matic, Perisic if he gets him, Lukaku's Premier League experience. Dembele's not really... Dembele, I suppose, if I was being harsh, is another Anthony Martial signing, is he? a young, fantastic talent, and I don't think Mourinho wants that this year. I can categorically tell you now, even if he decided he did want him now, we've left it too late. We won't be getting Dembele. As a few people have said in the live comments, Barcelona are on the case. Barcelona want Dembele. Dembele has been open about wanting to go to Barcelona. And the problem is, even if United had, over the last 2 months, been working on a deal for him, it wouldn't be, you know, Borussia Dortmund wouldn't have a brain if they didn't now look at the Neymar deal, 200 million, and you know, get in contact. As I said to you last night, this is why Mourinho has swooped in and taken so many people's players at the last minute. Willian was the prime example. I think he was going to Liverpool or Tottenham, and he swooped in at the last minute and got into Chelsea. And the reason that happens is, you're working on a deal with a club. Let's say United have been working on a deal with Dembele for the last 2 months. What Dortmund would do now through their representatives is they get in contact with Barcelona and say, look, United are going to pay 80 million, we're going to do a deal with them, but do you want him? And that's how it works in football. So that's how you can always hijack deals. The best hijack deal United ever did, Roy Keane was going to Blackburn Rovers. He'd met Kenny Dalglish and he'd agreed to go. United hijacked it, and you know, the rest is history. And Roy Keane was he was virtually a Blackburn Rovers player. Dalglish wanted him to sign. He said, I'll sign on Monday. And over the weekend, United got in there. And our history would be very different if we hadn't have done that. So hijacking a deal can happen. But even if we were in for Dembele, which I don't think we are, Barcelona have got £200 million to spend. Barcelona know far more than I do about football and football transfers. And they would swoop in and get him. So unfortunately, he's not an option for United anymore. We hijacked Forlan as well, says Richard Starkey. Dembele is the GOAT, says Robin Hammond. Elliot Hobday says Willian was going to Tottenham. He was, but I was thinking about this last night. It's irrelevant other than the fact that Mourinho's our manager and it's funny and he did it to Liverpool. But Liverpool were signing somebody as well, and Chelsea swooped in and took them. And I can't remember who it was. I can't think who it would have been. Who did Chelsea sign that Liverpool wanted to get? There we go. Usain Bolt's the secret signing, says Ronald Peters. I hope he wins tonight. I hope he does win tonight. Okay, so that's Dembele. And the final one won't be much of a surprise. Alexis Sanchez. Alexis Sanchez to Manchester United. So we've gone through 5 options there. Marco Royce, Gareth Bale, Alexis Sanchez, Ousmane Dembele and Di Maria. And I think that is really to highlight to you how difficult it is and why I've been saying for so long, if we don't get Perisic, who do we get? Because you've got to be realistic. And I've given 5 players there, apart from Marco Royce, who I mentioned as a point that a lot of people were mentioning him, but he won't play again in 2018. The other 4 are all gettable. Di Maria, Sanchez, who we'll speak about in a minute, Bale and Dembele. But they either aren't going to happen, or we can't get them, or they're not suitable. So then you go back to what I was talking about at the start. If we don't get Perisic, Felipe Anderson, Lucas Moura. And I like Felipe Anderson, but I don't think he's as good as Perisic. And as I said, Perisic's big attribute is his two-footedness, which Dembele has, but you know, Barcelona are going to be at the front of that queue. So Alexis Sanchez, 1 year left on his contract. They reckon he's going to stay at Arsenal. I, for the life of me, cannot understand. As I said on my Mark Goldbridge channel last night, which I've started doing raw videos on again, if you've not seen that. But as I said, Alexis Sanchez is 29 in December. He is not in the Europa League. He has a bad back from carrying Arsenal for the last 2 years. He's running out of time. He's a colossus for Chile. He's one of the best players in Europe. He's got 1 year left on his contract. Why would you stay at Arsenal, play with a bunch of bottlers again in the Europa League when he could move, get a good pay rise and play for a club that's going to be competitive? Why would you do that? The only thing I can think is he's maybe going to stay and then go for free next summer and he'll make a hell of a lot more money. But it's not very ambitious from Sanchez, and he's always struck me, to be honest, as a model pro. So I wouldn't be surprised if Alexis Sanchez does leave Arsenal in the next few weeks. Although if you're asking me to bet, I would say I bet he stays for some God-known reason. But can United sign Alexis Sanchez? And to me, that question and answer is a very, very simple no. I think Manchester City are the one club that is the club that he would go to in England because of the Pep Guardiola relationship. I don't think there's any chance of him coming to Manchester United in the way that Van Persie wanted to and pushed it and forced it, even though Arsenal didn't want to sell. And also, Arsenal will, move heaven and earth to stop him coming to United. They'd probably let him go to City quite happily, but they wouldn't let him go to United because we're the bigger club. So, Alexis Sanchez is an interesting one. He's potentially available, but no, I don't think so. And in summary, that sort of leaves us back where we were with Perisic, and I think that's the one. As I said, Gareth Bale, good player, good signing. I would like him, but the concern about Bale is the fact that you could lose De Gea. To be honest with you, I don't think there is a player in. Salah was hijacked from Liverpool. Mark, thanks for that. That was who commented that. Dan Louis. Thank you for that, Dan Louis. There's very few footballers in world football that I would let De Gea go for as part of a deal. I would have done Ronaldo, but I don't see where Ronaldo would fit into the current United team. Sanchez to Manchester City isn't that clear. Where does he fit, says Alan Lamont. Hijack Lamar, says Joe B. Yeah, Lamar's a player that has sort of been mentioned. He can obviously play that left side position, and then we would be hijacking because Arsenal really, really want him. But I don't know. I just don't feel that United are in for him. I think it's more fans talking about it. The interesting thing that Dimarzio said, by the way, just on hijacks and Monaco, was that United were in. United did bid for Fabinho. He was adamant that we did bid for Fabinho. So the one that got away, would love to have got him. Although, as I said last night, maybe we're going to sign him as a right back. Okay. Obviously, I don't think we've had any live chats tonight, super chats. I'm just going to check because I hate to miss them when I wasn't on the live comments. So if you made any super chat, I will read those out. You can do that through the $ at the bottom. Make sure if you do contribute to the United Stand, always leave a question because we want to give you a shout out as part of that appreciation. But it is Saturday Night Live. Well, we haven't had any super chats, so that's good. It is Saturday Night Live, which means we do normally take some of your questions, which I am going to take. But that start to the show tonight was really all about a video I wanted to do this afternoon. And for those who were waiting for it to go live, I had a few problems and I couldn't get it done. Effectively, I left my camera at my mother-in-law's and I had no camera to do it, so I had to go and fetch it this afternoon. So I've sort of combined two videos on one tonight, but there's plenty of people watching, so drop a like on the video if you're enjoying it, leave us some questions and we'll start flying into the Saturday Night Live, which is always really about your comments and how this will develop once the season starts. Saturday Night Live, 8 o'clock every Saturday night. And the point of this, we started it over the summer because we can talk about transfers, but the real longevity thought was when the season starts, Saturday night at 8 o'clock is a very, very good time for us to discuss not just United stuff, football stuff, mainly United stuff, but if United have played on a 3 o'clock and the dust has settled, why wait till Sunday night? So getting your thoughts really. X2X Gaming. Mark, who would be your ideal left wing back? Perisic would be. I don't know why that United in the Stands deleted that comment, and I've just read it. I don't know what the moderators do. I don't know why that was deleted. It might be because of capital letters, which actually you're not meant to do on the comments, so it might be to do with that. But I'll answer the question anyway. My ideal left wing back would be Perisic or Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw's either got to get fit or we've got to sign Perisic. I like Sandro at Juventus. We're not linked to him, and I think he'll go to Chelsea. But though one of those three, Luke Shaw if he can get fit, Perisic, or Sandro from Juventus. Tom55J's made a contribution. Thanks for that, Tom. I think we've had another one as well. Let me just make sure I don't miss it. Oh, my thing's playing up tonight. There we go. Rahul Matthew, thanks for the contribution. He says, Mark, how is the draft format in Football Premier League? I'm going to go through with you in a minute, Rahul. We're not doing Fantasy Premier League. We are doing it on the Telegraph, and I'm going to go through that with you for those who are interested in the last 5 minutes of the show, because I know it won't be for everybody, but I'm actually going to sort of go through picking my team, the point scoring format and all that lot, and I'm going to explain why I'm not doing Fantasy Premier League anymore. I've turned my back on it after 10 years, but I'll explain all that in a minute. Benjamin Henriques is a rock at the back and he plays left back, says Ben Anderson. Do you think we'll win the Premier League, says George King A. I am the man who's consistently said since about certainly last November, maybe even before, I may even have said it in September. Manchester United, I think I did say it probably back in August. What I did say is we might win the league this year, but we'll definitely win it next year. And all last season I've said it, and all this summer I've said it. Have I got concerns about that prediction? I would be a fool not to. There are concerns because it's a 20-point gap to make up. We were in 6th place. I'm not so concerned about that because it can be done. Chelsea did it, but they did it without European football, and we've got Champions League. But we've got Mourinho. I'm going to predict that we win the Premier League. And the reason is because Mourinho wins it in the first 2 years everywhere he's been, and he's been at about 5 or 6 other clubs. So it's a pretty consistent stat. I also believe that the signings he's made are not sensational in many ways. They are workman-like, and they are improvements. And I think they are also Premier League players in relation to Matic and Lukaku. They are consistent, good performing Premier League players. And I think that's Mourinho's. I think if you could offer Mourinho one thing this season, he probably would take the Champions League. But realistically, it's about the Premier League. So I'm going to predict we win it. But I'm not saying that is the be-all and the end-all. Mark Yusuf says, take a sip of your drink. It's not a good one tonight, but that's what the wife got me. Craig Curtis says that Bale is staying on Twitter. Don't think we will get our big star this summer. Well, I'm glad that line's been put under it because we cannot deal. We cannot, whether you want Bale or not, and I would take Bale, of course I would. But it's head in the clouds moments. It's a bit like the Ronaldo trap we fell into at the end of June. You start to think it can happen, but it can't happen. The Morata thing was the big lesson that many of us were warned about, that Real Madrid, we can't deal with Real Madrid. While we've got De Gea, we cannot deal with Real Madrid because that's all they want. Jevon Williams says we should sort out our left side. It's awful except for Martial. More rumours about Martial leaving United again today. I do not know what that's all about. Absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous, I say. He cannot be allowed to leave. I think he's a potentially fantastic player. I think he's been a fantastic player, and we certainly should not be letting him go. Liam Murphy says, if De Gea did force a move away from United, would you be happy with Romero or move to another shot stopper? No, I'm not happy. I'm going to upset a few people here. I totally understand that, but I'm not. I will not accept Romero as Manchester United goalkeeper. No way. This is a goalkeeper. When you look through his career, yes, he's played for Argentina, but what other choices do Argentina have? And also, it's a bit like playing in the Europa League, isn't it? For Manchester United, he didn't have loads to do. He has never had loads to do for Argentina. When you look at his club career, he's never really been consistently the number one for any club that he's played for. None of which have been very good teams. Sampdoria, was it AZ Alkmaar with Ajax? I know they won the league, but it's a rubbish league. Romero's not a Manchester United goalkeeper. No way. I like him as a backup keeper, and he's certainly, I do like him. But if we're putting him in goal, I would rather have Butland in goal. I would rather have Schmeichel in goal. There are loads of goalkeepers in the Premier League playing for mid-table clubs that I would take over Romero. Romero is a decent backup goalkeeper, but in a 38 Premier League season, he couldn't catch a balloon. He punches at everything. No, he's not a Premier League goalkeeper. I think he can get by in Europe, in a European style, where they don't get many crosses in. In the Premier League, no. I got my third kit today with Lukaku on, so I have all 3 new tops, says Ryan Johnson. Made of money, Ryan, you are. Made of money. Sunil Pawar says Mertens from Napoli. I think he signed a new contract. He's also 31. He's a good player. Stephen Paul says stop talking about Perisic. I'll stop talking about Perisic when we figure out what we're doing on that left-hand side, because for me, he is the only one. Andrew Malloy says Romero's a good backup, which he is. Here's a good question. Everybody can answer this. Football 3704 says top goal scorer for United apart from Lukaku. He says Mkhitaryan. I'm going to go Rashford. I think Rashford won't probably start up front as much because of Lukaku, but I've just got a funny feeling that Rashford is going to be very clinical this year. And when he's given opportunities, he'll score goals. So I'm going to go for Marcus Rashford as my second. And Mertens is 30, says Pineapple Joe. Felipe Anderson, says Shavender Singh. I like Felipe Anderson. He is quite two-footed. He's quick. He's mid-20s, so he's younger than Perisic. He's not as tall. But he's a bit like William Carvalho of Sporting Lisbon. That he gets mentioned and linked a lot, but he's never leaves his club. So no. Aziz Baller says, shut up. Romero is a decent goalkeeper and the best backup goalkeeper in the league. There's always going to be Romero fans, but I totally disagree with your point, mate. But if you love him and you've got pictures on the wall, everybody's happy. Not for me. Mata will be second behind Lukaku, says Shane Fit. Ibrahimovic, says Harold. Very good shout. I do think we'll see him back. Why didn't we sign Chicharito, says Ashwin Kalam. I don't really have any sympathy about us not signing Chicharito, to be honest. I would have loved him to come back. Javier Hernandez, for those who don't realise, you should do who Chicharito is. Chico. I would have liked Hernandez to come back, but I totally understand why he hasn't come back, because at West Ham he's going to be playing first team football. At Manchester United, he'll be on the bench. He clearly loves Manchester United. He'll get a great reception a week tomorrow in the Premier League game. It's going to be potentially a tough game, that West Ham game. We'll talk more about it in the week, but it's going to be potentially a tough game. They've made some good signings, and we struggled last year to beat teams like that at Old Trafford. So, interesting, very interesting. But no, Hernandez would have been on the bench, and he needs first-team football, so that's what happened there. Darian Jones has made a contribution. Thank you, Darian. He says, you're not going to like this, but I'd take Bale and lose De Gea as long as we sign Schmeichel as #1 goalkeeper. Yes, I'm an old sentimental and Welsh. Laugh out loud. Well, that explains a lot, Darian. You know, Gareth Bale is obviously Welsh, at the last I checked. But Darian would give up De Gea for Bale. I suppose the interesting thing is, if you did think that, Darian, and I'll try and spot your reply in the comments, would it have to be De Gea for Bale and no money, or would you give them De Gea and 20 million for Bale? Because for me, I would just do straight swap. I wouldn't give any money. Martial or Mickey behind Lukaku, says Sami Mansour. I think it's got to be Mkhitaryan at the moment, based on form, but I do like Martial behind him from what I've seen. I certainly think he works better. I certainly think if my top 3 players to play behind Lukaku at the moment would be Mkhitaryan, then Martial, then Mata, not Rashford. I don't think Rashford works well behind a striker. I think Rashford's more or less the replacement for Lukaku. So that answers that. What about Iheanacho going to Leicester, says Vince Chapman. It's just City fans having to sit down and take the L yet again. Wasn't it a couple of years ago that they were saying he's better than Rashford? They'll never learn. They'll never learn. Elliot Hubday agrees with me. Rashford definitely top goal scorer. Yep. Draxler says Hugo. I don't know. Draxler's a good player, but he is at PSG, isn't he? Would PSG be looking to get rid of him? I don't know. As I said last night, PSG will only get rid of players they want to get rid of. They're not going to get rid of Verratti because Neymar will have said, look, I want to win the Champions League. So they're going to build on what they've got. They're not going to get rid of their top players. Every time I watch this show, you're always slating one of our players. What's your problem, says the judge. I like the name, the judge. I suppose you're judging me a little bit. I don't know what players I'm meant to have slated. Obviously, I'm not a Fellaini fan, but that's been the last 3 years, and I've not spoken about him tonight, so you've made me do that. Slating players. Well, I suppose you're talking about Romero, pal. I'm not slating him. I was asked a question, which I will always answer for you lot, whether I think he could be Manchester United goalkeeper if we sold De Gea. And I don't. That's not... I think some people just get lost in the fact that you can actually have an opinion that's not always a yes positive opinion. It'd be like me asking the live comments now, do you think Phil Jones could be our centre-back next season? 1 or 2 of you might say yes. The rest of you might swear and say no. So my reaction to can Romero be Manchester United's first team goalkeeper, and I gave you all the reasons why, are a big fat no. Chris MC's made a contribution. He says, Fabinho right wing back, Lamar left wing back. What do you think? Thanks for the contribution, Chris. I don't think we're going to be signing Fabinho. Lamar, I don't think we'll be signing him either. I think Aurier might come in. And I think I'm still hoping that the left wing back is going to be our man Perisic. Andy Pandy's made a contribution. He says, best managers in the Premier League. Why not the best players? I'm just going to read that. Sort of thanks for the contribution, Andy. I'm going to read that in a sort of different way, maybe to what you thought. That there's a great question coming up from Football News. I tweeted this out of my own account at Mark Goldbridge, for those who want to follow me. Little pun there, little promotion. I tweeted out this morning off my account and I said, Perisic and Aurier, and I'll be very happy with this transfer window. Sometimes you don't need marquee signings. It's about balance. And I never thought I'd say that, but I think Lukaku is a Premier League proven striker. He'll score a lot of goals and he makes the dynamic very different up front with his pace. Lindelof is another good centre-back that I think will become a great centre-back. Matic, if he can perform like he did 3 years ago, can solve that centre defensive midfield role. Aurier would give us balance on the right-hand side if Valencia gets tired, and Perisic would give us balance on the left-wing side until Shaw comes back and pushes him a little bit. So I don't think we need a marquee signing. So why not the best players? I don't think that's what Mourinho was looking to achieve this year. Football News says, Mark, we still need a number 7 and a number 10. It's a great point. I've thought about doing a video on its own, but I think it'd be a little bit boring. But we have no number 10 and we have no number 7. And even if we did sign Aurier and Perisic, you can't see them having that. And that, I suppose, is the part of what the start of this video was, when we're talking about 5 potential marquee signings with only, 26 days of this window, just over 3 weeks left. We have no number 7 and we have no number 10. Having said that, have the numbers been allocated yet for Manchester United? No, they haven't. So who's to say that a current player won't be number 10 or number 7? Chris McSee's made a contribution. Thanks for that, Chris. He says, love the channel. Keep up the good work. Well, all I would say is thanks to everybody on the live comments as per usual, because without all you lot, you're the ones who make the channel, as you can see behind me, and certainly with all the questions as well. Bale for number 7, says Dan Luis. Somebody told me, and I don't know whether this is true, but Bale's number is number 11, and that's in agreement contractually with Adidas. Now, if Bale is number 11, that is a massive problem, because that's Martial's number, and for the second summer in a row, he'd be being moved out of his shirt for a new signing, which would be an absolute disgrace and would probably mean that Martial is leaving. So, if that's true about Gareth Bale in the number 11, that is a potential nightmare. I just want Martial to survive this summer at Manchester United, because he'll prove Jose wrong next year, 100%. Damn, the new graphic looks great, Mark. Like, says Morton. This isn't a new graphic. This is, as he shows you the badge, this is just one of many studios we have that Drawty does for us. So I don't think he's watching tonight because he's out. But make sure you drop a like on the video if you like the graphics. If you like the show, drop a like. But certainly drop a like on the video for the graphics, because Drawty does a lot of work and he would like to feed off your love. So thanks for that. Would you take Williams at left wing back? Says I'm hyper. Williams. You know, when you said Williams, I'm thinking Ashley Williams. Who are we talking about there? Or are we talking about Willian? Zlatan will probably take number 10 if he signs after Christmas, says Andrew. Good point. Good point. You say you have no number 10. What formation are you playing, and who would play as the number 10? Says Mark Redmond. Yeah. I don't know what formation we're playing. I'm not the manager. I'm hoping it's going to be a 3-5-2. Give 7 to Rashford and 10 to Pogba and 6 to Matic, says Jack Nolan. Yeah, Pogba's got the personality to wear the number 10. I'm not so sure whether you'd give Rashford the number 7 when he's probably not going to play every game. John Sherrell, thoughts on our set piece taker? I think it's got to be Pogba or Mata if he's on the pitch. But apparently Lindelof can take one. Darian Jones has made a contribution again. He says, Neymar, the move wasn't for money. Quote of the week. Yeah, because I guarantee Neymar was sat there, and before the money was offered, he was thinking, it's my ambition to play for PSG. David Carey's made a contribution. He says, hi Mark, out of the first 6 Premier League games, How will United do? I think played 6, won 3, drawn 2, lost 1. And if so, that's poor, because out of the 6 games, we should win 5, if not 6. Off the top of my head, I need to get back into the rhythm of this, but I've not really looked at it since the fixture list came out. But I think we've got West Ham, second game, I can't remember who we've got away. Is it Swansea? We've got Everton at home, I think, and we've got Leicester, and I can't remember who the other two. I know they're all winnable, and to be honest with you, whoever it is, we should be winning them. But yeah, I wouldn't fall into the trap that we're going to have a great start. Remember last year we won our first 3 games and we still came 6th. So it just shows you how important a good start is, but how important you've got to keep that consistency. We lost so many points between October and Christmas that it destroyed us, really. But then we carried it on, didn't we? How far did we, in fact, we nearly got back into the top 4 in January, didn't we? And then we blew it again. We need a right winger. Lingard's not good enough, says Dutton. How far do you think we'll go in the Champions League, says X2X Gaming? I think we've got to get to the quarterfinals, and then if that's where we go out, that's where we go out, and anything over that is a benefit, is a bonus. But Premier League is what we've got to do. Everyone head to the United Stand website, back up and running, and we're all writing more articles. That's from Pat McChrystal. Yeah, sorry about that. I think it's in the video description. The website's back up and running. We took it down for a couple of weeks because it was running really slow with the increase in traffic and articles that are going up on there. So we've got it onto a new server, and it's very, very fast now. It's running really, really well. So theunitedstand.com, lots of good articles on there. Yeah, do get on there. Right, what I'm going to do now is the Fantasy Premier League because I know a lot of you have been asking me about it. Why we're doing the Telegraph? Why we're not doing the Fantasy Premier League? So, without further ado, how do we do this? Okay, there we go. So, it's up on your screen now. This is my team at the moment. It's not going to be my team, but this is my team at the moment. So, it's with the Telegraph. We've got our own league. If you look in the video description, you've got the link to the Telegraph to sign up, and you've got the league pin and the league password to join the United Stand. Now, there's a couple of reasons why I'm going on to the Telegraph. One of them, and it's quite a minor one really, but it is so that we can have our own private league. There is an entry fee, and the reason we're doing that is because we want a real proper competition. We want to make it, competitive and fun, and there's a live comments board in there, and also it'll protect us from the Fantasy Premier League one last year. We had about 6,000 people in it, and that makes it it becomes impersonal with that many people in it. You see it all over Twitter, sign up to my Fantasy Premier League, and then people enter about 10 leagues, and every one of them's got thousands and thousands of people in it. And what we wanted to do was create something that's a little bit more cozy, I suppose, a little bit more competitive. I think we've got about 50 players in there at the moment, and if we can get to a couple of hundred, I think it's going to be a really good laugh because we'll get to know each other in the situation. So sign up in the link. The link's in the video description. It's got the code and the pin code in there. The fact that there's an entry fee means that we can do prizes, and also there is a pot for the winner, for second place, and player of the month, and all sorts of things because of the pot, which is the Telegraph will handle for us, which is great. Another reason, another big reason I've always done the Telegraph and I moved away from the Fantasy Premier League is I just got fed up with the Fantasy Premier League. I think you can do it, and by not having much skill, you can do it by being quite lucky. Whereas the Telegraph has always been a little bit more, well, I think a lot more, but I'll be fair and say a little bit more skillful. So the point scoring is different, but also the difference is in Fantasy Premier League, it's only a Premier League games. In the Telegraph, it's Premier League and FA Cup, which again, it's that little bit more thinking outside the box, because you've got to think FA Cup. Top sides, are they going to play their players? And again, it's a bit more skillful because you could go for a team that will play their first team in the FA Cup. They also, on the Fantasy Premier League, you can only have 3 players from one club. No limits in the Telegraph. You could have a whole team of United players if you could afford to do it. You get £50 million, but as you can see from my team I've put out there, 50 million doesn't sound a lot, but Lukaku's 6.6, so it is all achievable. In fact, if you look to the right, I can show you the strikers. And based on value, the most expensive player is Kane at 7 million and Alexis Sanchez, Aguero. I've got Lukaku and Morata in there because I just thought it'd be interesting. I probably won't use those anyway. So the scoring system is a player starts to get 2 points, sub gets 1 point. A goal is 5 points for everybody. There's none of this preference that if you're a defender you get 7 and if you're a striker you get 4. Any goal is 5 points. Any assist is 3 points. A yellow card is -1. A missed penalty is -2. An own goal is -3. A penalty save for a goalkeeper is 5 points. A clean sheet over 60 minutes for a goalkeeper or a defender is 5 points. It's 2 points if they played any less than 60 minutes. And what I also like about it is the transferring system. Fantasy Premier League, you have subs, you have a squad of about 15 players. In the Telegraph, you only have 11. So none of your subs come in. Again, it's another skill aspect. You don't get saved by your subs. There are more formations. I've got a 4-4-2 there. As you can see, I can change it, but I have to swap my players around for certain players. So if I go back to the 4-4-2, you start with 11 players. That's what you get. You get 40 transfers for the season. You can and if you use them up in the first 5 weeks, they're gone. You've got none more left. So it's just more of a proper managing scenario than Fantasy Premier League, which I think caters for everybody and certainly the amateurs who can outdo a professional more often than not. The Telegraph is more of a challenge, hence that's why we've done the United stand on there, and I think the entry fee just adds that little bit more skill into it so that people will maintain it every week and it will be competitive, and we'll update it like that. So that's the point scoring system. You can line up in the video description. I was just having a look at it. I mean, I've just sort of put a team out there, but let's just have a look at strikers, team, Manchester United. You've got Lukaku, 6.6. Martial, there's no value in having him at 5.3. Rashford at 5.8, not too bad. Midfielders are a little bit disappointing from a United point of view because Pereira's not there, but I wouldn't actually have him. I wouldn't have him. You've got to try and put your best team out on the Telegraph because you've got 11 players and Pereira probably won't play that many at the start of the season. So I've got Pogba in there at the moment. Mkhitaryan at 4.7 is the most expensive United player. Lingard at 3.8, as much as it pains me, Lingard at 3.8 is probably very, very good value because I think Mourinho will start him. Obviously, you've got Matic at 3 million. Some people will think that's a bargain. I'm going to give you a few tips now. Defensive midfielders, where are you going to get the points from? They're not going to score goals. They don't get points for a clean sheet. So defensive midfielders are no good. Defenders, Manchester United. So I've got Bay at 3.8. Fosu Mensah, I did think about it, but he won't get played. Lindelof's also 3.8, so Bay is the better one because he will play more. I did think about Daley Blind at 3.5 because I think he will play a lot. Or Rojo, but back at Christmas. So that's one I'll probably sign. Or Luke Shaw if he comes back and plays well. So there you go. You can have a team full of United players if you can fit it. I will probably get more than the 4 I've got, to be honest. I'll probably put another couple in. But at the moment, that's my team. You can copy it if you want. That is not going to be the team that I pick. But that is the team that I have at the moment. Let me come back to you. Okay, so that's how you do it. I promised you at the end of the video we would talk about the Premier League. I've explained why we're not doing Fantasy Premier League because it's way, way, way more of a better challenge on the Telegraph. And I just got fed up. I got fed up with the Fantasy Premier League, to be honest. I'm not even entering it this year. I said last year would be my last one. I've always done the Telegraph and it's much more fun. So get involved with it if you want to. I believe, because some people have said this, that it's only UK based. If that's true, apologies, because we are a global channel. However, there are ways around it. There are definitely ways around it. Pretty similar to the ways people, because at the end of the day, it's just about where it's detecting your browser. I can't tell you any more than that, but there are, what's that browser where it doesn't pick up where you are actually from? It's legal. DuckDuckGo, is it? Or something like that? People on the live comments will know more than me. But you'll be able to sign up if you're not in the UK just by doing it through a browser or a router that's not that's based in the UK or something like that. So there's always a way around it if you want to get involved. But as Byron Beckford says, I like this setup. I prefer it. And the United stand, we're always trendsetters. Look, I don't want to do... Last 2 years, we've done a fancy Premier League, and it's been thousands of people entering, and it's just not personal. It's impersonal. You look at who's the top, and you don't know whether there's somebody from the United stand or not. It becomes very, very boring by about middle of September. This way, it will be a much, much smaller league. It'll be much more competitive. We've got a live comments on there, and it'll be good fun. If you're not doing it, that's fine. Don't worry. That's why I've left it towards the end. That's why a few people have gone off, and I totally understand that. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Really, really enjoyed it. There's a few people telling you how you can do it on the live comments if you're not based in the UK. Pogbrem UFC has made a comment there, and yeah, I'm sure people can help you out. If you're not watching live, maybe leave a comment in the comments below and help people to do it if they're not in the UK, because you can do it. I know somebody tried to sign up for it on their PayPal from Australia, but it wouldn't let them do it. There's a way around doing it. I mean, at the end of the day, it's only because something on your settings is not UK based. Why can you not enter a game, a fantasy Premier League game? It's not gambling. It's just an entry fee. So thanks everybody for watching. Skype will be back on Monday. MUFC boys, we've got Skype Goldbridge on Monday night at 8 o'clock. Sorry. We've got a lot of exciting things coming up over the next few weeks. A few companies we're going to work with, and they're going to give away United shirts, which is great. On the watch along in relation to betting, we will be doing that again. You don't have to do it, but we do it on the watch along if people are interested in that. A few people have been asking about that. Tomorrow night is Sunday Night Live. I think I've got Rodney with me tomorrow night. So he normally does a Tuesday, but it's Super Cup Tuesday against Real Madrid. So I think he's going to come on tomorrow night on the Sunday night show. We'll obviously react if there's any transfer news later on tonight or tomorrow morning. But enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'm going to go and watch a bit more of Shooter on Netflix. Brilliant programme. I've really enjoyed tonight. I hope you've enjoyed the first bit. If you want to do if you want to do our fantasy league, the link's in the video description. I've explained all that a few minutes ago, how it works. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. In relation to United signing, I think one of the comments of the night was we've got no number 10 and no number 7. I would lean towards we're gonna have to fill that from somebody within, because I don't see who we're gonna get. I can't see Bale happening. I don't want De Gea to go. And out of the 5 players I spoke tonight about, Alexis Sanchez, Ousmane Dembele, Gareth Bale, Di Maria, Marco Royce. Marco Royce is injured, so that's not happening. Dembele won't happen. I would say Alexis Sanchez is the most likely out of those 5, and I don't think that's likely. So we'll see what happens. Thanks everybody. Make sure you drop a like on the video. We've not quite hit 1,000. There's still 2,500 of you watching. So if half of you hit the like button, we will go over 1,000 while we're live on air. Philip Dean says that Sanchez will sign for City in January. Well, Arsenal are idiots if they let that happen. Sushen Bele says that Fosu Mensah is a natural CDM. I do agree with that. And do you watch Ozark, Mark? Says Jack Nolan. No, I presume it's on Netflix. Watch Bayern versus Dortmund, says Kappel. I might do. I just don't feel like watching any football tonight, if I'm honest. I'll probably record it. Herving Lozano, I think he's already moved. We were linked with him, Winston UK, but I think he went to PSV or something like that. I'm going to watch the running. Lloyd Mace, I am going to watch Usain Bolt, definitely. 8:45. 10:15. Elliot Hobden. It's up in the air about Usain Bolt. He didn't, he's not run that well. Obviously came second in the semi-final, but that doesn't really mean anything. But if you know anything about running, which is quite simple, you just run fast. He doesn't look, he's susceptible. And of all these races, he's got to win this one because it's his last one. So I really, really hope he does. Bob McBob, you need to make another creation because that one's blocked. Mr. GTR203 says, love you, Mark. Well, love all of you lot as well. Fantastic community that we have. And we're not quite at 1,000 likes yet. Why are we not after Talisca? Says Supri. I can't stand Talisca, to be honest. But fair play if you do. And hi Mark, read my message please, says Jonathan Briffer. Mark, what are your thoughts on Liverpool already winning the league, says Caroline Ross. Look, I can tell you one thing certain, Liverpool won't win the league. They might not even get through into the Champions League. They've got Hoffenheim over 2 legs. I think they will do, but Lallana's out for 2 months as well. They're not having the best of luck, but they are about to get 100 million, aren't they? Because Coutinho's going to leave, I think. I think Sanchez will stay as well, Byrie. Would you take Insigne? I can never pronounce his name, Theon Curtin says. Yeah, he's a good player. Perisic is the one I want, and it's just annoying people. And the Predictor League is Oprah Sides Bottle. The Predictor League, if you want to play that, we have got our own Predictor League for this season. It's through Super Brew. If you want the link to our video, our league, if you go back to the watch along, the Sampdoria watch along, it's in the video description for there. Anyway, thanks everybody for watching. Really enjoyed the show tonight. For those who stay to the end, you are the hardcore. But realistically, I must say this, and I try to say it as much as possible, but I always save it to the very end. You make this channel what it is. You make it the 100% independent fan channel that it is. That you're part of the show with me. You're behind me. You're next to me. You're in front of me. You drive it, and without you, we wouldn't exist. So keep watching, keep liking, keep spreading the word about the United Stand, and keep getting involved, because we've got lots of things planned this season. All the great stuff that we've always done, but lots of other things as well. And very, very excited to have you all part of this fantastic community. And as was said in the live comments, if you love the United Stand, make sure you're following us on Twitter at United Stand MUFC. Make sure you go to the website. In fact, I don't do this enough because a lot of the others do. I do the YouTube. That's basically my area. But if you go into the video description, there are loads of things that we have in there. Twitter, Facebook, the website's fantastic. If you've got, if you're ever bored at work or something like that and you can't listen to me, go and have a read on the website. There's some great articles there. Twitter, as I said, is thriving. Facebook, I think we're on Instagram as well. So loads and loads of things to get involved with. So thanks everybody. And I'm going to try and sort out a couple more United shirts to give away as well in the next few days. So we're back tomorrow at 8 o'clock with the Sunday night show, if not before. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. Let's hope Usain Bolt brings it home, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.